Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you might be. My name is Lamin Jallo in Toronto. Thank you, dear listener, for tuning in today's Africa. Hope you are all enjoying your Saturday. We have a nice sunny Saturday morning here in Toronto. Those are used to tune in, thank you very much for your fidelity. Those who it's their first time, warm welcome and thank you very much for tuning in, and we will really appreciate to have you on board today. Without all of you, we won't be able to express our passion and dedication to our dear mother, Africa. Co-hosting with me today, our brother GB Daniels from Accra. Good afternoon, brother GB.
Good afternoon, Doc. Greetings from Ghana, West Africa.
Great.
The sun is up today. The weather is so good. Yes.
Brother Theo Yao Boke, our producer of this program in Toronto. We really appreciate all the hard work he is doing behind the scene prior to and during the broadcast. Our topic today, developing the air transportation industry in Africa. We have the privilege to welcome the perfect guest for our today's topic, who is none other than Mr. Eric Bannerman, Executive Chairman, CEO, Gold Stars Airlines, Ghana. We'll be asking him broad and specific questions to gather insight into various aspects of the industry in Africa. Good day, Mr. Bannerman, and welcome. We are extremely grateful to have you in our program. It's such a pleasure of mine and my co-hosts. Again, dear listener, thank you for choosing today's Africa, developing the air transportation industry in Africa. The air transportation industry in Africa faces, I believe, several challenges which can vary across regions and country. No, there is some challenges I can say, but we'll let our guests develop more on those challenges. We have infrastructure deficiency, regulatory hurdles, safety and security concern, limited connectivity, etc. High cost, whether in operating costs or high airfare. However, I have to tip my hat to you, Mr. Bannerman. Well done, Mr. Bannerman, for Africa Alliance. A great initiative. However, it was long due, Mr. Bannerman. Why waiting just now to launch Africa Alliance with other airlines? Why just now to benefit from the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement context, and you haven't thought about it long time ago? So why are flights around Africa so expensive? We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
However, Mr. Bannerman, as we used to do, we always ask our guest to introduce himself. Who is Mr. Bannerman? Who is Eric Bannerman? The floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Diallo, and good day to everyone everywhere. Eric Bannerman is the chairman and the chief executive officer of newly owned Ghanaian Airline, Gold Star Air, and president of Season Travel and Tours International, which has branches in so many countries. And we have kind of the Gold Star, and Gold Star Airlines, the only owned Ghanaian, and has acquired the air carrier license, are waiting to complete the air operator certificate. The airline will initially be flying from the Kumasi International Airport once it's completed to London, Rome, Hamburg, Madrid, Düsseldorf, Milan, and 13 destinations from Accra, Kotoka International Airport, namely Toronto, Washington, Lagos, London, Monrovia, Abidjan, Freetown, Dubai, Guangzhou, Rhode Island, Dakar, Banjul, Conakry. And we have 20 cities, something like Miami, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago, Illinois, Glasgow, Scotland, Houston, Texas, and many more. We have been offered 2 years parking, landing, advert, and office space at the BWI Airport and Rhode Island Airport. And we've given free this in our future airport at Scotland, Glasgow Airport.
Thank you, Mr. Bannerman. My first question, can you provide us an overview of the current state of the air transportation industry in Africa? Why do you see are the major challenges and opportunities for the industry in the regions?
The major challenges right now is as you said, the airfares, and secondly, we don't have enough technical people in Africa, though, because once they come up, they just get out of Africa. So that's the main challenge. And you also talk about today. I would like to talk about the fifth freedom, which is the open sky, which came up all the way in the 80s with the African country to have open skies. We didn't happen until there was a meeting in 1994 in Abuja, which they have the treaty, and later they have another declaration in 98 at Yamoussoukro. It couldn't work, and they signed a binding agreement in 1999 at the conference with the 44 African states signed that binding agreement, except 10 countries, which includes Morocco, South Africa, and the rest. The fifth freedom right between two countries other than the airline home nation, the ability to carry passengers and cargo from one foreign country to another, whilst en route to and from your home country. But with that one, we sat down and saw that since the 80s, it hasn't been able to work because most countries are not trying to sign up on it, and they are not giving that free freedom right. So that's why we are coming up with the Alliance, Afrika Alliance, which will empower each and every country to have its own airline. Then we help them. We see how the technical aspect of it, so that once you take it to a country, the local business can be able to take over from there, so that the money can spread all over Africa, because it couldn't work. And when you it went up to in 2018, they came back with another thing, single African air transport market, which the SAATM, which was launched to implement the same Yamoussoukro decision, but it couldn't work. When you see the Nigerian Airlines denounced it and lobbied their government not to implement it, and the same way the Uganda president also went against it, that it is going to a few airlines are going to dominate, and that is not good. So with the alliance, might be better for Africa. So that's why we're coming up with that one.
Thank you, Mr. Eric Berman. Now, I have a question. I have to ask that question. The cost of intra-African travel has been a subject of much debate in recent years. With tourist professionals and with the population. As the BBC recently reported, flying from Berlin in Germany to Istanbul in Turkey might cost around roughly $150 US for a direct flight lasting under 3 hours. However, traveling a similar distance, let's say between Kinshasa and Lagos, Nigeria, could cost between 500 and 850, often involving at least one layover and taking some time up to 20 hours. How come?
The simple answer is that's why we need the alliance, because one airline can take over the whole of Africa. It becomes a problem, then it becomes a monopoly. But once we get together as an alliance, we can cover all the air, because there are over 120 airports in Africa which are underutilized. So with that one, and we empower each state to have it. One state can cover all, and even the 44 that I've signed can cover everything. So once we get together as an alliance, so that everybody will benefit, than one airline or two countries benefiting from the free freedom. Because if you give it out like that, it's like you've given your economic tool out, because that can bring in the foreign exchange as well. So once you give it out, all the money, they repatriate all the money to Africa. And recently, the IATA said they have about 1.6 billion dollars sitting in Africa that they can transfer out of to their country. So if even that money can stay in Africa for Africans, and we're going to be better off. So all we need is to get together and come up with an alliance which is going to help the continent.
Thank you, Mr. Bannerman. Brother JB, I know you are experiencing the high cost in terms of airfare. What do you have to say? I'm sure you used Star Airline, Gold Airlines, I believe, sometimes. So what do you have to say, Brother JB? Good to see you, by the way.
I think he's.
I think Brother JB is. Okay. How about you, Mr. Producer?
It's a pleasure to meet Mr. Bannerman. Thank you for accepting to.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah, okay. But I realized that. Muted? No, I'm not muted. Am I muted?
Go ahead.
Am I muted?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Brother JB.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
We noticed that air transport fares are so high in Africa. We noticed that air transport fares are so expensive in Africa. And this borders on the inefficiency in the this borders on the inefficiencies in the running of air travel business in Africa. Typically, I know much about Ghana. No, when we were young, we had a national airline, Last Airlines. But the way the airline was run, the management, it couldn't survive. Finally, it was so clogged with indebtedness, and they have to dismantle it. After so many years, other airlines came on board, Amtrak and other airlines. They also somehow fizzle out. And I noticed that there are new ones doing well now, and Mr. Bannerman's one will come and add. And if you look at the situation across the African countries, apart from Kenya Airlines and the Ethiopia Airlines, most of the countries' individual airlines are having difficulties. So I want to ask Mr. Bannerman, if the individual countries, African countries, are positive of resources. Why can't we, in line with the African Union, come together and form a Pan-African airline while pooling our resources and our human resources to make it efficient? Definitely, because the airline business is so expensive, people prefer traveling by road and other means of transport. But if you want to do straight business and with after coming on board, we have to have free movement of persons across the African country. And if the airline business is efficient, it will help a lot. You are in the airline business. What are your thoughts about African countries pooling their resources into a single efficient airline, well endowed, so that Africa can also, because if you look at the way the foreign airlines are working, the last time I checked, last week, British Airways already, I think they have three trips
10 flights a week
to Accra. They said they are increasing.
10.
Yeah, hello. They said they are increasing the number of trips they are making to Accra. But presently, there's no Ghanaian airline, private airline, that controls the traffic to London and most of the European countries. So I think that if African countries can pool their resources, that area can be entered into and it will help Africa. Mr. Madam, what do you think?
Oh, what you're saying is right, though. But first of all, is the population in Ghana, only 2% travel by air, which is very bad. So managing an airline in Ghana is very difficult, because if you have a population of over 30 million and only 2% travel by air, that is a problem. And once the minimum salary of somebody working in Ghana can take him back and forth to Kumasi and back. So once you have that, that is going to be a challenge for the person to use it to fly. And secondly, what also happens is that most of Black people are scared to be in the air. So that is what we have to encourage people, that air transportation is the safer mode of travel than in car and on a motorbike also. So we need a lot of education in Africa to make this business work, because if you look at it, an airline in America has made about over 14 billion quarter the revenue. So if that 40 million is circulating in Africa, we won't even go to IMF to even seek for any fund, because if the money is circulating, it goes round. So there's going to be money in the system. And with the African Union, once it becomes like that, what happens with government airlines are people becomes think God. You understand what I'm saying? Then if it's operated by one party, if they said this, maybe the people in charge might be looking for what is going to benefit them. Maybe then that becomes a problem. Because if you look at Air Africa, you understand what I'm saying? That one that went up, and once you look at that, that's why I'm saying that. So what I feel is going to be good is that individual countries have to come together, control their this thing, and promote this thing. And I'm going to tell you, we've just gotten an incentive from the Toronto authority. They want to promote their country, so they are going to help us even with cash for awareness creation. That is business.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Mr. Bannerman. But you talk about the competition from non-aviation modes, like the rail and road and rail. But it's not due the fact, the high cost in terms of fare, and also the fact, sometimes it's faster to travel by rail or roads than to fly, because the layovers, as I said at the beginning, between two cities, it can take 20 hours, and it's too expensive. So sometimes it's cheap. Not only is it cheaper, but it's faster to take the train or to the road transportation. It's one thing. And you talk about Air Africa. They seized, I believe, in 2002, and it was owned by several countries, especially the West African countries. And I believe Ghana wasn't part of it.
No, Ghana wasn't.
Yes, and even though it was African, owned by many African countries, but still, Air Africa failed. So even you talk about the fact, we need to get together.
Collaboration.
You have to get together.
Collaboration.
You have to do it the right way, because Air Africa had a lot of problems, and one of the problems, it's mismanagement, and there was, I believe, a lot of cronyism. People, they have their your sister-in-law, your mother, your brother, your neighbor. Everybody can fly if you are part of the organization, can fly free, and they can't make money without that, and obviously they go under. So I believe it's not just to be together, but you have to do it the right way. What do you have to say about that?
Well, what you're saying is right, though, and all we need is collaboration, because once the power is invested into some part of people, it becomes a power play, because every country has a different approach. You understand what I'm saying? Because people might think I'm bringing a lot of money onto the table, but once there's a collaboration, everybody has. We are going to build capacity to the workers or the staff. Capacity building must be the number one distance, so that once you get out there, maybe you go to Europe or you come here in America, you go back and you're making money. You can subsidize the money on the local people so that the local travel is going to be increased. Because maybe you fly from here, from London to Accra. There's a new airport at Ho in Ghana. It's not utilized. You have passengers going as a tourist to Ho, and maybe you have like three quarters or half. You can drop the prices, like the transport fares to Ho, so that you can get the local people to also to join, so that you can use that to defray some of the cost. That is what we have to focus on. Other than that, most airports that they are building in Africa is going to be useless.
Thank you. Brother Theo, what do you have to add?
Well, I would like to formally welcome Mr. Bannerman to this program. And as we all say that we have stories to tell. And the story that he's telling augurs well for the future of the African air transportation industry. As a matter of fact, we need more. Integrating it is good, but at the same time, too, we've even where, let me take you back to the East African Airlines Airways back then. They went down. It went down for so many reasons. But then we don't have to be, we don't have to give up the hope that Africa, being the center of attraction from outside of the continent, we need to put everything together and then encourage businesses. The airline transportation business is a fact of life, and we cannot sort of sweep it under the rug. A lot of Africans travel. We travel a lot. And we have become the subject of intimidation and disrespect, rudeness from other airlines. I can attest to the fact that flying from Canada to Europe, the services on these foreign airlines are good, great. But from North America or from Europe to Africa. I don't sort of like that. But then it's up to Africans to develop our own airlines or our own businesses. We may make mistakes. At the same time, we can make mistakes and correct them. So I tip my hat off to Mr. Bannerman because I don't think it's going to be easy. And my question to you is, how did Gold Star start?
Thank you. We've been in the business for almost like 27 years now. We started Gold Star a couple of years ago, so all contributing that. We realized that we've been in the business as a travel consultant, but we realized that what is going to happen in Africa is going to be worse because the airlines, once it comes to online booking, the airlines are taking the business from the travel agencies. A lot of travel agencies in Ghana has collapsed. They are at home. Most Africans also too can have the IATA $50,000 deposit to come on their platform. And let me tell you one thing. Once you go online, sometimes you might even get it cheaper than the travel agency. So they are making the travel agency redundant. So what is going to happen? We just sat there and said, okay.
There's a feedback.
Yeah, there is a feedback.
Yeah. Go ahead, please, Mr.
Go ahead, Mr. Bernard.
So what is going to happen is that with the 50,000, if somebody is having a $50,000 cash to go and deposit to sell tickets, it might even go somewhere into because the airlines are now challenging the travel agents. They are fighting them. So Africa needs to have a local person that can understand the plight of the travel agencies, because you have to communicate by email or somebody in maybe Jordan or so, which becomes a problem. And once you go on the airlines website, you can purchase the ticket. So what happens to the travel agencies? They are going out of business.
Yes.
So Africans need an airline who can support the economy, because this is an economic tool. It's a game changer for Africa, because most people are now trying to explore Africa. And when you go for it, the population even in Africa is going to be over 2.8 billion in the next couple of years. So that is what, and once you look at the, like Ghana, you look at the cocoa, secondly, you look at the oil. Now electric cars, electric aircrafts are coming. So the oil is going to go down. The cocoa, there's artificial cocoa now. The go-to is going. So what we have to look at something else to focus on. And the game changer is the aviation and tourism. Because once you offer services, it doesn't go off. Once you offer good service, people are going to come on and patronize. They don't even care, because they have so many places in Africa that people would like to visit. Like the Toronto airport, what they are saying, they're going to even give us some cash to promote the destination, because they know how promotion works or awareness works, because it's not going to benefit GoStar, it's going to benefit the city as well. So they are going to involve the city as well to it, so that we can do it as a destination for Africa, and so it's going to be vice versa. So that is what Africans and government has to look at the future. You understand what I'm saying? Then sit down with the businessmen. It doesn't matter, because even I keep telling people that if you have an aircraft or you own an aircraft, once you don't park it at your home, it's for the government. because you don't own the airport.
That's right.
So the government can clamp it anytime he wants. So they have to see that all these airlines coming in is an economic tool that is going to help the country. So every government, if you have any idea, the government has to sit down with you, see what you can help with that, and we just move on. Then the collaboration tool is important so that they can cover all the cities or the airports in Africa. Other than that, we are wasting money in infrastructure on airports.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, 200%. Because you know what, it's up to us to develop, make the mistakes, look at what benefits us and what does not benefit us. Because if you talk in terms of what Toronto Pearson Airport is giving to you, they know what is in there for them. Because at the end of the day, it's also promoting the continent. Business people will be able to travel, go back and forth, and then it will go on to help with the development of the airline industry. My follow-up question would be also about air cargo transportation, because if we are talking about the airline industry, it also is part of it. And I'm proud of one of our sister countries doing that during the COVID, Ethiopian Airlines, for instance, that comes into focus. Is Gold Star thinking of after this? Is Gold Star thinking of also going into the air cargo business? Because I think it might also be a lucrative.
Oh yeah,
Before Mr. Bina, before we yield the floor, Brother Cho, he talked about Ethiopian Airlines, and as of my knowledge, Ethiopian Airline is indeed one of the largest and most successful airline in Africa, and to some extent, on a global scale, Ethiopian Airline has, recognition for its operational excellence, modern fleet, strategic management. So why other African airlines cannot take example from Ethiopian Airline?
Oh, thank you. Ethiopia Airlines you have shareholders and so but the airline is labeled Ethiopia, but it's not for the Ethiopia government.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for the education.
Thank you. We haven't known that.
The management is good, and moreover, we some years back we signed an agreement with them that in case, because we are trying to come out with our own MRO, which is aircraft maintenance overhaul at Temali. We've gotten the distance to build an cargo village and training center, because what is happening in Africa is that apart from South Africa, Ethiopia, Egypt, and Morocco, we don't have any Kenyan tourists, but Kenya is having a little problem. South Africa is having a little problem because of the influence of government. Once government influence come inside and they keep appointing, sometimes they appoint who they know. So that sometimes becomes a problem on the African continent. That's why most of the airlines will go up, because they don't get people who have the interest or they have the passion for it. If you have the passion for it, you want to maintain it. And I always tell people that it's division of labor. A great person can come and head aviation.
Yes.
You might have every knowledge, but there's no way. There are some technicalities that, or you've not followed it for a long time. You might be good. You might be a good administrator, but not every place that they put you is going to work. Mm-hmm. So that is what Africans government has to look at. You understand? But once you just go, they just put you there, or just then what people will come and tell you. That's why I tell people that I'm going to be behind the counter, checking passengers in, to have first-hand information of what they need or what is happening. So that is because once you get to sometimes, it gets to somewhere, you need a more proactive initiative. So you have to interrupt. You don't have to sit in the office for people to come and tell you, oh, they said this, they said that. But once you are behind the counter as a CEO and you are going to check maybe Emmanuel or Dr. Diallo, when I take your passport and I tell you that, oh, the system is slow, you have to wait for a couple of minutes. Where are you going today? How do you see our services? What do you think is going to improve? Then you go ahead and implement it because you are hearing it right from the passengers. But you don't have to sit in the office waiting for feedbacks. That's what sometimes makes the airlines goes back, because the person who comes is going to tell you what is going to favor him or her.
So
yes,
so in essence, Mr. Bannerman, in essence, customer service is lacking.
Lacking in Africa.
Training, yes, customer service is lacking in Africa because they go there. Oh, it's not my company. It's not for my brother or my sister. But they forget about the fact that if the company go bust, they are out of a job. So what you're saying is, I mean, it's synonymous with what we see in North America here. But in Africa, if Mr. Bannerman goes behind the counter, oh, you see, he is there. But they don't understand it. But all that you are trying to do is to initiate a customer sort of clientele business relationship. So I think I applaud what you've said, and I tip my hat to you, sir.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, brother Theo. Actually, I think you had a question in regard to, in addition to
cargo,
it's a passenger services, if Gold Star Airlines will think about cargo operations. What do you have to say, Mr. Bannerman, about that?
Oh, it's in our business plan, and our base is going to be in Tamale, because Tamale is underserved. The runway is long enough. They opened the airport now. There's no international airlines coming in right now at Tamale. So that is where we're going to base our MRO over there. We're going to base our training school over there, and we just want to help the underprivileged to get to somewhere. So we're going to give scholarship and stuff, and that is what is lacking in Africa, though.
Yes.
And we might be signing an agreement with some people to be a sole agent for aircraft parts in Africa, which it might be maybe a couple of days from now, so that we are talking to them that whether they can come over and do the manufacturing there, so that Africans too also can benefit.
Yes.
Then gradually we can build our own aircraft like what Chinese people are doing.
Wow.
Thank you, Mr. Bannerman. Brother JB, I'm sure you have something to add in regard to what Mr. Bannerman and Brother Theo said. What do you have to add? Brother JB? You are muted. You are muted. We are not hearing you.
Yeah, I'm worried. Yeah. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc. I'm worried about airline fares. As a young man, yeah, I'm worried about airline fares. Muted? Wow.
We can hear you.
We can hear you, Brother JB. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
How?
Okay, so you see me, he's having some
Yes,
technical difficulties. Now, Mr. Bannerman, the high cost, the high fare, most of the time, we blame all the airlines, the African airlines blame it to the high operating cost. And but the high operating cost is for all airlines. The high fuel prices, the maintenance costs, and fee imposed by airport and regulatory bodies is for all airlines, whether you are from Africa or from Western countries. So how come it impacts more African countries airline companies, African airline companies, than other carriers. How come? I understand maybe there is some infrastructure deficiencies, and if let's say you have a aging fleet, maybe it can maybe increase the operating cost. But what's the problem?
Because we import labor. Once you import labor, what happens is that once they are in Ghana, they normally take per diems.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? And once they are taking per diem, once they travel to UK, they take per diem. And even the per diem over in Ghana can pay about a lot of people in Ghana.
Yes.
And or the African countries. So you make your operating cost very high.
Yeah. So so you are saying there is a skills shortages in Africa.
That's correct.
There is shortage of skilled aviation professionals.
Yes, that's correct.
Including pilots, engineers,
Pilots and the-
air traffic controllers.
Oh,
So-
once the number of airlines are down, definitely that is what is going to happen, because because you know there are a lot of aviation schools in Ghana. People go, they come out, they don't have anything to, so it's like they are spend their money for free.
Wow.
So
Yeah. So the bottom line is that we need to transfer technology to Africans, so that they can take their own power into their own hands and make it work. But you can't bring somebody and be paying the person per diem, even when it's at his base. That doesn't work.
So how can we resolve that problem? So is it, I believe, it's, there is a political aspect, the governments, and also I think the African Union should be involved and help to develop African continent, even by thinking of the curriculum for, in terms of schooling for the aviation industry. So what do you think about that?
Oh, that one is 100%. They have to come one and just come. That's what I'm saying, that they have to be involved and help the states to come out with innovative aviation courses and stuff. Because let me tell you, our lowest salary for our junior staff, the 3 months even can buy a car in Ghana, because we are trying to compare it over here. So once you have high-paying jobs in Ghana, people are going to be happy to work, not creating just jobs, but a job that can take them home. Because most African countries, the jobs over there can't take the staff home. So always there, and that makes becomes push them to be corrupt.
Yeah.
They not even care to be at job, because once you find that person doesn't care, because he's not benefiting on what he's doing.
Yeah.
So that is the second aspect that we have to look at. We have to find out. That is why the job that is not paying well, we're just going to give it to agents. We don't want to be part of it, so that we're going to owe the agency for that. But with the cabin crew, and this is not done though. But they have there's a lot of poverty in Africa, so they have to be wise. Once you go to China, you get your per diem as a cabin crew. You got to buy something, because you have one free bag to go and come with. You need to invest in your family as well. So that is why we are saying this is going to bring a broad over 100,000 jobs to Ghana.
Wow.
Once you get there, you have a free bag, one bag that the airline is giving you for. So use your per diem, maybe buy some garlic and kenke, enjoy it over there. Use it to invest in your families. Then the economy will be growing. So it's not that it's only an airline or this, but it's going to benefit a lot of people in Africa.
Yeah. So in this case, about in terms of talent development, how is the industry working to address the skills gap and promote talent development in pilots, engineering, management? And are there specific initiatives or programs that Gold Star Airlines is involved into nurture talents?
Thank you. What we've done is that we've consulted almost every airline in Africa. You can check. We've had meetings with some of them and stuff, because what we see is not the Yamasokrom and this, because that one, if president and people are going against it, then you have to see that over 20 something years that is not working. Yeah. You have to find another way to bring it back on the table. So all they need to do is that we have to empower every state who want to do it. Some people say, I don't want to get involved. Then that is it. But the people who want to get involved, the African district with African finance, they have to come back and get maybe people on the board, not the management. On the board to have a day-to-day information about what is going on.
Thank you.
The free hands to do the job.
Thank you, Mr. Bannerman. Brother JB, I'm sure you have something to add. What do you have to say? Brother JB?
The delay factor.
I think he's today he's having technical difficulties.
Yeah, if I can jump in.
Yes, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
If I can jump in, I think Gold Star is on the right track from what the conversation that we are having. And I think it's high time that I think private airlines are the way to go. Because if you get the governments involved, we've seen so many horror stories, just like how Mr. Bannerman alluded to, governments appointing the CEOs, whether they are qualified or not, and stuff like that. But then this is a specialized kind of industry. But I'm still going to go back to my question that
it's unfortunate I missed this. But yeah. I have questions for Mr. Bannerman. I was saying that when I was a young man, after
you are breaking up. You are breaking, Brother JB.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Bannerman, let me go ahead with my question.
Go ahead.
I was talking about the airline, air cargo industry. What is your take on it? Because I think it's also a lucrative kind of area. Because you started talking about it, but I think we didn't finish it.
For not only the airline, but for the state as well, because that can move your fresh produce back and forth easily, and that brings in the end, and that also can be marketed on your airline for the producers. And that is what we are also going to do, because we're going to set up something like Amazon. Okay. So that once somebody ordered and something, we've approached Ghana Post, we've talked to them that they should contribute, because this is going to be too much for us. But we feel that this is going to also help the country. So we have approached the MD of Ghana Post, which is Bryce Kufo Obo, on that. Then so he's waiting for us to see how we're going to do. He said he's trying to do something. So we don't care, because our job is going to be too much, but that is also going to help us to make some revenue. So we shouldn't think about and secondly, too, Ghana Post is also having some problems in people taking their cargo back and forth, and this is also going to help the country as well, so that it's going to be effective, and the money will stay in the country. So we are looking beyond aviation. We are looking to we are going to specialize in tourism as well, because no airline goes to Ghana. Some African countries that do packages 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 days packages. We are going to align with the hotels, which we've done a little bit already, to have packages for tourists in all over the world so that they can visit Ghana. And whoever is in the village is going to also benefit from it.
Thank you, Mr. Bannerman. Just let's come back to Africa Alliance. So how did you come up with this great idea? And how many African airlines are members, and how it's going? Is it, do you see a positive outcome from that idea? What do you have to say?
Oh, I've talked to a couple of airlines, and they are all positive that they're going to do it. So it's about time how or when we're going to launch it. You understand? Because we have to have a frame, but as we're saying, we have to, we don't want to bring confusion within the African continent and African Union. So we might approach them later after we've put in our document together so to come, because if after 20 something years the open sky is not working, people are thinking about, we have to have some new concept that is going to, and I know this is going to be good for the African Union once they go in, because this is going to expand network without investing in new aircraft. It's going to have offer you new destinations, longer routes for passengers by picking and connecting existing partner flights. It's going to maintain lower operation costs. You understand? Because it's going to guarantee a consistent level of service.
So what's the problem? Why is not moving forward? Africa Alliance, is it a problem?
We are putting the document together right now. We are to launch it. It's not been launched, but it's going to be launched though. Because you need to talk to people and tell them what is in need for them and everything, and that's all. So, but we're talking though. We're putting the document together, and I know very soon we're going to go ahead and launch it though. And this is not a competition with the free skies and stuff, but no, it's we will just go to the AU2 and let them know that this is what we want to do. If they just want to get involved, we can just let them have it.
Yeah, but it's so important. It should not delay. It should go quick, fast, because you have Star Alliance with Air Canada, Turkish Airline, etc. And I don't know. You should not wait. You should focus on it and go ahead. Otherwise, we can't move forward with the African airlines. And I believe, and I truly believe, African Union can step in and help this kind of structure to move forward, because it's hurting the development of Africa. So I think the lack of unity in Africa also is hurting us in all respects, not only in the airline air transportation industry, but everywhere. So, but do you see how far are you from having it launched, or what's the problem? Why? I know you talk about you are putting in place the documents, but documents should not be problematic. You have skills people. You have management.
He wants it quick, eh?
Yeah.
We'll do that for you then. We'll do that for you.
Brother JB, you are having technical difficulties. Let's see if you are back. Hello, Brother JB.
I think.
No, I think this morning.
Yeah, he's far away in Ghana. So
in Ghana, yes. Brother Theo, what do you have to say?
Yes, I think what I'm hearing this morning is great, because we have people, business people like Mr. Bannerman Young, agile, and straightforward thinking. I think it augurs well for Africa, because I have never given up on Africa. I don't care what anybody says. We've made our mistakes. We continue to make mistakes, and we will make mistakes along the way. Because like Dr. Kwame Nkrumah said, the black man is capable of making mistakes and correcting them. And no matter how we look at it, it's up to us to tell our stories, to develop what benefits us. Because you know what? Africa is in the eye of the whole world. Africa doesn't need the whole world. The whole world rather needs Africa. Because right now, as we are looking into the future, I think the likes of the Gold Star Airlines and other airlines that will be coming after Gold Star, because Gold Star has been in business for that many years. And I think using platforms like this will also enhance and encourage Africans to patronize our own airlines as opposed to the others. Because you know what? At the end of the day, if we patronize our own airlines, it benefits us. If I'm going home to Ghana or to Nigeria or to Senegal, I should be proud to say that I'm going to go by Gold Star Airlines or Kenyan Airways and stuff like that, rather than to be talking about other airlines. So I think the future is bright and brightest with Gold Star leading the charge right now, because what I'm listening to right now is so great. Thank you, Mr. Bannerman, for what you're doing.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, Brother JB,
am I okay?
Go ahead.
Am I okay now?
Yes. We are hearing you. Go ahead.
Am I okay now?
Yes.
Go ahead. Not quite. Okay. Mr. Bannerman, you know, I used to think in Africa, in a global context, it's better to have one or two airline companies for the continent. Do you think it's better to have such things, you know, one or two, three maximum big airline companies, or to have, you know, many, you know, each country, let's say Ghana, Niger, Senegal, having its own airline companies, and maybe have you know, a solid, strong partnership? What do you think between these two options? Which one is better for us in African?
Oh no, when you come here in US or in Canada, they have a lot of airlines running there, even just in Canada. You understand what I'm saying? So Air Canada,
WestJet,
WestJet, and
they have. So it's the same way. Once they have two or three, it becomes monopoly.
yeah.
Okay.
That is a problem. But once they have collaboration, this is the alliance is going to be like a collaboration. As they have a lot of over 120 airports in Accra, but when they mention only about 15 or 20 airports. Like Ghana, like Africa doesn't have a lot of airports.
Mm-hmm.
We need to utilize those airports, take the people they promote, because, as I said, the natural resources is going to get finished. We're going to run out of it. So what we do after that, we shouldn't wait as Africans and say our gold is not coming, our cocoa is not coming, the oil is cut off. We have to see the services that we're going to do so that we also can export labor to other countries as well.
Thank you. Now, in terms of market growth and potential, from your perspective, what are the key factors driving the growth of the air transportation market in Africa? You know, beside, you know, all those, you know, the challenges, what do you think, what the key factors driving the growth of the air transport market in Africa? And are there specific regions or routes that show particular promise for expansion?
Oh, African routes are underserved though, because there's no awareness creation. There's no marketing aspect like what Toronto Airport is giving us, because you need to sell what you have before people can buy it. But once you keep it in the dark, who sees it? Nobody sees it. So that's the approach Africans has to come up with. They have to go out there, sell what they want, and people are going to buy it.
Thank you. I think I believe you have another meeting to go. We won't keep you long. Just before a last question, for individual aspiring to enter the air transportation industry, what advice would you give them?
Say it again, please.
For individuals aspiring to enter the air transportation industry, what advice would you give them?
The advice I would give them, they have to go back, study the people who didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Why they didn't make it and what happened. And then they will use it as a tool to move forward.
Last question. What emerging trends do you anticipate in the African air transportation industry of the next decades?
Oh, Africa is going to be the place to be once it's being marketable. So that's why we're coming in to make it. And because it's not only Ghana that I'm from, but the other countries, we're going to sell packages to all African countries. We're going to go to churches, we're going to go to institutions, we're going to go to schools and sell our product to them. And that will make Africa great.
Thank you, Mr. Eric Berman. It was such a pleasure to have you today. And I believe, Mr. Producer, we need to have him back because, we have more questions, a lot of questions, because it's important industry for the development of Africa. We'll schedule another meeting to have you a guest. Thank you very much for all the insight, all the information you provide us today. It was a really nice learning from us. Thank you, and we, wishing you all the best, and also wishing you to promote Africa Alliance and keep working on it. And I believe in the new future, we'll have our own Africa Alliance for the benefit for the whole continent in terms of air transportation industry. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And dear listener, also, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week, same platform, same time. Bye now. Thank you.